it's Betsy, and today we have a fun video for you. We're going to be testing out the new Wicked Sisters Cosmetics Invocation of the Spirit palette. Now, if you're not familiar with what that phrase is from, it is from The Craft, which is a 90s movie that I absolutely love. So this is a eyeshadow palette that is inspired by The Craft. So I had to wear my Craft shirt today because, you know, back then this was everything, because I went and saw this premiere at the movie theaters. That's how old I am. Shh, don't tell anyone. But anyways, I was super excited for this. My husband ordered it from their website. It retails for $28. So, and there are, let's see if I can show you. So there are 15 shades. Beautiful, beautiful fall Halloween style colors. On the back of the packaging, it does have all the ingredients. It is Leaping Bunny certified, and it has a 12-month shelf life. And the packaging is beautiful. So I'm excited to play with this. So this looks like the little witchcraft book that they got in the movie. So we'll start off like we normally do by swatching. So Dream Guy, ooh, that feels really nice. Minnow, Witch Boots, Nancy. So who is your favorite character from The Craft? Dream Guy, Manon, Witch Boots, and Nancy. So they don't feel bad, and they're swatching pretty good. You never know with an independent brand. Some of them are great, some of them not so much. Then we have Revenge, but this is the same thing with regular brands. Witches, ooh, that orange is pretty. Weirdo, which is almost like a limey green. And then Rosary, which is a pressed glitter. So, yeesh. We have Revenge, Witches, Nancy, and Rosary. That Rosary shade is really pretty. That pressed glitter. Next up, we have Catholic School, Snakes, Occult, and Goblet. That Goblet shade is really pretty too. So, Catholic School, Snakes, Occult, Catholic School. But yeah, no, I was obsessed with this movie. I still watch it quite a bit because I love it. Next is Love Spell, Levitate, and Summon. So, Love Spell, Levitate, and Summon. So I will say this, the metallics in here are not super metallic, but the mattes seem pretty nice. So I think we are gonna go with something a little bit more dramatic, because how can you not when it is a craft-based eyeshadow palette? Now, whenever this movie came out, I went and bought, I wanted to be like the girls, especially Nancy, even though, you know, she's supposed to be the bad guy, but, you know, I kind of have always related to the bad guy. So we're gonna take and use our Pretty Vulgar eyeshadow primer. So good. So as you can see, the eyeshadow primer that I'm using is one that doesn't have a lot of pigment to it, or has no pigment to it, which is fine by me. So I think what we're gonna start off with is, I'm gonna grab my BK Beauty 201 brush, and I'm going to go into the shade Levitate and just use that all over to set my primer, because I'm not sure exactly how these shadows perform. So typically whenever I'm using like a new shadow, I always try to, if there is a shade to set my primer, I set it and then kind of go from there. But you know, I'm always down to try an indie brand, especially when something is unique like this. You know, I'm obsessed with Halloween. May or may not know that. I love Halloween, I love scary movies, I love stuff like this. So being able to purchase something that's based on a movie I absolutely adore, I'm all in. So I'm gonna use the same brush and I'm gonna go into the shade Dream Guy, which is definitely and it is picking up very well in the brush. It is a very true gray. Like, I'm trying to think of what kind of gray this reminds me of. It is very sterile kind of gray. Like what they used to paint like brick and stuff in schools. That very cool tone, unforgiving kind of gray color. It does not have any warmth in it at all. And as you can see, it seems to be performing pretty well. And I hadn't seen anybody on YouTube use this brand. I had gotten an ad for it, I think. And if it wasn't an ad, I just accidentally came across it on Instagram. It was a suggested page to like on Instagram. And I went and followed them and I saw this and was like, I have to have that. There's no question about it. I have to have that. So that looks really, really pretty. So I'm gonna take, this is the BK Beauty 205, and we're gonna go into the shade Nancy. Again, it is picking up beautifully on this palette, on the brushes, not on the palette. And it's blending really nicely too. There is some fallout from the shades, but I can deal with fallout if I'm gonna get this kind of payoff in pigmentation. Now, I don't remember where they're from, but so far so good. So I'm just taking the same 201 brush and just kind of going over the edges just to really kind of soften everything up. I do love that shade Nancy though. So just blend, blend, blend. And you can see how easily that blended out. I mean, no problems. And one thing I do like to do is, as you can tell, or maybe you can't, I don't do a whole lot of editing to my videos. It is, you get what you get, you see it from the get-go, because I do pretty simple eye looks, or at least in my mind they're simple. Stuff that works well for my eye shape. So as you can see, I'm just taking and really kind of blending that gray, the Dream Guy shade, into the shade Nancy, and really blowing it out and smoking it out, because the two together look really good. And for $28 so far, this has been a very easy palette to work with. So just kind of going back. This is one of those palettes that works where you use kind of a denser brush to pack it on and then blend it out. And sometimes you have to add a little bit more color to it, but I don't mind that. Okay, so let's dip into Nancy one more time. Just to keep it nice and deep. Okay, so I really like this. Okay, so So now I think I'm gonna try to use the shade Witch Boots, the black shade. This is, no, not that brush. Let's use, this is the Kaleidos S3 brush. So it's kind of a blendy brush, but it's a little more flat. And we're just picking up the shade Witch Boots. And I'm just gonna keep it very close and tight into the crease. That is adding some amazing depth to it though. I was kind of nervous that the black might be a little weak, but honestly, when you get it on your eyes, it's not. Because of how it's swatched. This is just the 201 brush again. I like to use something like this that really helps to make sure all the colors are nice and diffused and blended together. But as I've said a million times, I am no expert when it comes to eyeshadow. This is a Cuvage brush. This is an Amazon brush and it's clean, and I'm just taking and using that over where I had Dream Guy, and it kind of melted into Nancy just to make sure everything is really soft. Because even though this is a harsher look, I still like it to have that really soft blended feel. So now I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab too many brushes. The Kaleidos S4, which is like the style of brush that I love to use for my lid. And I'm gonna take the Too Faced Glitter Glue. And the NYX Glitter Primer works really well too. But this is the one I have open, so this is what I'm using right now because I'm not wasteful. And I'm just applying it on the front 2/3 of my eyelid. Now, because we're fixing to work with the pressed glitter. If you're not comfortable with working with the pressed glitter, because pressed glitters are not technically eye safe. Now, I don't know if this one is, because there are some glitter formulas that are. And I don't know if this one is or not. But know that glitter can get into your eye and damage your cornea. So use at your own risk. But look how pretty that looks. And the glitter glue is holding it in well in place. But y'all know I'm all about the glitter, so it's hard for me to say no when there is a glitter in a palette. But look how pretty that looks. I am very, very impressed. I'm gonna take the 205 brush that I've been using on the shade Nancy and just kind of go back in just a little bit and intensify, and grab my 201 one more time and just make sure it's soft on the edges. But so far, I'm really liking this. Let's go ahead and remove the eye tapes. What do you think? Okay, so I'm gonna go put on my foundation, the rest of my face. We'll come back and we will test a few more shades and see how it goes. So as you can see, I'm back. I have the rest of my face on and everything is looking pretty good, if I say so myself. I used the Pat McGrath liquid lipstick in Nightshade. This is from a special set a few years ago, and it's like this really deep plum kind of color that I love. So we're gonna start off, I'm gonna line my waterline. Where is my, okay. We're gonna use the Pat McGrath Labs Ultra Guide pencil, or Ultra Glide gel pencil in extreme black. because again, I want this to be very dark and vampy. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. Which is kind of like the looks I've been into lately, but you know, not all of them have to be that way. Some of them have actually been pretty neutral. So I think now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab the 203 brush and I'm going to dip into the shade right here, Goblet. And we're gonna use that, which is a little bit more pink than Nancy, just to blend out our lower lash line. So just blend that in. I gotta figure out how to get past the little dead spots in the video. So tell me if you like this format or if you would like me to kind of edit more. I like to hear y'all's opinion on that. So I'm just taking that same clean cubage brush that I used on the top and just really making sure everything is nice and blended. Definitely something we did not do in the 90s, but you know, it is a different time, so we'll try something different. So I'm gonna go into the little pencil brush, the S5 from Kaleidos, and I'm gonna go into the shade Weirdo. We're gonna try that as the inner corner. I just have a feeling. Oh yeah, I kind of like that. It definitely keeps that kind of Halloween-y vibe. So that looks really good. And see, it brightened the inner corner without being too much because I didn't want it to be like a glowing white inner corner. Take some of the Essence Lash Princess, which I think is finally starting to dry out. So it's fixing to be the end. And there is the finished look. What do you think? So let's talk about my final thoughts on this palette. Okay, so this palette is $28, worth every single penny. It is absolutely gorgeous. I love how it blended. I mean, you can see it definitely invokes the craft, which I love. This is a great Halloween fall palette, especially if you like those dark, moody, sexy, sultry kind of colors. So remember, if you like this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button right down below. I post new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but because there has been so much new makeup releasing, I have been posting a whole lot more. Don't forget to check me out on all my social media, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, and Instagram. But I guess that's it, so we shall see y'all probably tomorrow. Bye.